Visiting with Pittsfield Saukees head coach Dalton Barnes. Coach, first of all, welcome to Pittsfield. Talk a little bit about yourself, your family, and kind of what drew you to the area.
Well, I've been around the game my whole life. I played at Girard, the Big Red. Played my senior year for J.D. Lorton at the Panthers. Just football through and through. That's my life. That's my family. My dad was a JFL coach for over 15 years, and my family just eats and breathes and loves the game. Starting my coaching career with JD at North Mac. From there, kind of had a few different stops, and luckily for us, they've all been, most of them been in the Sangamo, so very familiar with this conference. And when this job opened up, it was kind of a pipe dream I didn't think was possible. This place has so many great qualities, so many great kids, and it's the hometown feel that I'm used to. Like I said, growing up in Girard, this is a small town community that loves their kids, loves their sports, and wants to be successful, and threw my name in, and I think it was just kind of the stars aligned, and here we are.
You and your family have moved to town already, and hopefully everybody's getting settled in. You're excited about your kids being in this program as well.
Absolutely. I have a 7th grade daughter who just had her Braves summer basketball game the other night, and she feels like she's fitting in. And anytime you bring a 5'9" 7th grade girl to town, that's pretty exciting for the girls' sports. But I also have 2 other kids. My 4th grade daughter, she's excited to wrestle. We didn't have that back home. And then my son, he's going into 1st grade. He's going to be a football player. He'll let you know that. So we're excited to be here, the whole family. My wife's going to be teaching here, and I've had a lot of different coaching jobs, but this is the first time where we've taken our family, we've moved an hour away from home, because we truly believe this is the place to be.
You talked about Coach Lorton a little bit. I know he's been a big impact on your coaching career, but you've had a lot of guys who have supported you and helped you grow in this profession along the way.
It's one of those things where you have to, give the respect and the credit to those who you've learned from. I've been so blessed. I had JD as a coach and as a colleague, and he just really taught me how to win. But he also taught me some of those little things on how to love kids. The little things like making sure everyone has a shirt on their back and that's been fed. And that was the foundation of really truly just teaching me what the game's about. I've had some other great head coaches. Shane Owsley at North Mac following J.D. Lorton, we were super successful, and I learned a lot of the business aspect from him, right? Just very detail oriented, very organized, and just really how to delegate and trust people. And then, from there, I was blessed to have an opportunity to be an offensive coordinator at Litchfield with Tom Priddle. Wild story, we met trying out for a semi-pro team. We were running, and we both looked at each other and said, let's go talk about football and not try to play. Next thing you know, I'm his offensive coordinator. But, just a guy like that to give me a shot was huge. And then from there, one of my still great friends, Aaron Coons, picked me up, and, it's no secret they're one of the top programs around here. And to be inside of those walls and to see how he does things and how he handles his business was huge for my career. And then John Hamilton at Pleasant Plains, also just gave me the offense and said, here, take it, run with it, and being able to be an offensive coordinator in the Sangamo, that's a big deal. This is one of the best conferences in the state of Illinois, and then full circle, first head coaching job at Gillespie given to me by Shane Owsley. So, pretty cool, but, that's a lot of words, a lot of wind, but it's really important to me to thank those guys and to really put into perspective. This has been a journey, and, I think this is all in right timing, and I think I'm ready to take my next step.
You have an opportunity to kind of build your own culture here, kind of instill some of your values. So talk about what some of those main things are you're trying to do here at the outset.
So we have 4 core values that are non-negotiable. The big thing with me and culture is everything. It's what separates the winners and the losers. Anyone can put culture on a t-shirt, and everyone does, but it doesn't mean that you're living by it. It doesn't mean you're following it. So my big things are love, character, max effort, and family forever. Those are 4 values, 4 pillars of our program that, when I sat down and said, how can I turn these guys into great young men? Those were kind of the things that stuck out to me. And, love, people are like, oh, love, that's weak. No, it's not. That's the strongest emotion. Football's a game of relationships. Life's about relationships. So love is the strongest emotion, and all great relationships are founded in love. So character, obviously, sometimes in the sports world, we get a bad rep of the athlete can maybe act a little different here and there, but not in this program. We are going to raise people to act the right way, whether they're going into Casey's to buy a drink or whether they're in the lunch line or in math class. They're going to act appropriately and have good character. The next thing's max effort. You know, growing up in the country in Girard with my dad, he was always just, you know, behind me saying, if you're going to do something, do it right. And that's just how I was raised up. And, you know, it's just so true. If anything in life, you just got to put your full heart into it and everything you got into it. And then finally, just the family forever piece. You know, I'm a kind of guy, you know, we were just talking before this interview started about some of my former players. Like, I love this and I love these guys. And I think it's ridiculous that, you know, some people play in programs where it's like you're just a number, you know, or you're just the ticket taker, or you're just a concession stand worker. Like, all these people are important. These are people that are choosing to love this program and love this town. So when I say family forever, we mean it. You know, we are always going to be there for each other and always have each other's backs.
You mentioned the Sangamon Conference. Obviously, it's a very good one. Deep playoff runs every year. How do you get the program to be successfully or consistent, I guess I would say, in that conference?
I don't think there's any secret formula. I think you have to, for one, believe in yourself. I think we need to realize that we do belong here. You know, as someone who's been around this conference, I'm looking at these kids and I'm saying we have what it takes physically, right? The big thing is believing in yourself and putting in that work every single day. You know, this conference is so good and there is no easy layups or gimmies in this conference. You know, and we were talking earlier too, you know, this is a fun conference for myself because I've played against most of these guys or coached against most of these guys. So, you know, I know they're all doing things the right way. They're all working hard every day. So that's all we can do. There's no secret formula. It's just that max effort every single day, showing up every single day and believing in what we're doing.
You talked about getting to work. Your guys got together for the first time this week, have a couple of sessions under their belt, and I know it's going to be a busy summer.
Yeah, you know, June, we're a little bit slower, just 3 days a week, but we've had close to 60 guys every night, and for June, I'm tickled for that. You know, there's baseball going on, there's basketball going on, and small towns like us here in Pittsfield, Illinois, you know, we want to promote those guys to play multiple sports. We want all Saukees athletics to be successful, you know, but come July, we're gonna ramp it up, and you know, hopefully our numbers maybe even improve a little more, and we'll be ready to go.
Last thing, you've been putting together your coaching staff. You still have a couple of additions I think you'd like, but one of the guys that you've brought here is also somebody who's going to be in the Pikeland district for the first time, and Coach Kaufman.
Yeah, that was a huge score. I coached with Coach Kaufman at Plains. You know, he was a great athlete for Plains. I believe he was part of either their first playoff game or one of the first. So, you know, the guy knows football. He's been at Griffin. He won a state championship with Ken Leonard in his last year. You know, again, one of those programs where when you get into the walls and kind of pull the curtain back, you just learn a lot of things about football and management and life. So we're so blessed to bring him here and to have, you know, a leader like him being down in PCS with the younger ones that can kind of, you know, start that culture at a younger age and then kind of funnel it up to us at the older level.